In today's modern world, is there such a thing as normal family life?
Who's to say what's normal?
Some families enjoy a dangerous life. Some crave a relaxing life. And some just like the wild life. In this series, we'll be visiting households across the globe to celebrate the wonderful, the inspirational, and the eccentric. Welcome to the world's most extraordinary families. Coming up, we go monkey mad with the Janota family.
It's like raising a 2-year-old child on steroids.
And we meet the Gifford family, who left it all behind to sail around the world.
Our family went from the American dream lifestyle to living below the federal poverty line.
But first, we're off to Canada to meet a family of bodybuilders who flex their huge muscles on stage together. Meet the Annetts, a muscular family of bodybuilders who live and train together in Sarnia, Canada. They are one of the only families to compete on the world stage and have won hundreds of competitions between them.
I think my family is unique in more ways than one. There's not many families that actively compete the way we do. The moment I walk on stage, I'm at home. I love it.
You see families that are into fitness, but we've taken it almost to the next level. Like my mom's a pro now, and like my sisters, they both look, amazing on stage. You feel very proud of them, and my dad's 50 now, and he looks just amazing.
Today, the family are taking a trip to their second home, the gym. And along for the ride is newest member of the family, grandson Hunter.
I love coming to the gym with our kids.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a good time today. This is our hot spot. We come here and get down. We don't play here. We spend usually maybe 4 to 5 hours a day when I'm prepping. But on a regular day or off season, maybe a couple hours a day I'll spend at the gym.
We'll do some upper body movements, be chest, maybe arms, a little bit of shoulders. We'll try and tee on 1 or 2 different muscles today. This is easy.
Belt concerts.
Are you ready to work
Yeah,
out?
that's right too. It's the Hall of Fame for the fitness athletes, different sports. That's my picture. I was probably about 35 there. And of course, we got the family picture here as well.
Alongside his day job as a fraud investigator, 50-year-old dad Dean has been competing in bodybuilding shows for the last 18 years.
Always grew up looking at like bodybuilding magazines when I was a kid. And I said, you know what, one day maybe I can do that. And then once our kids got to a certain age, they were more independent. That's when I got involved. I was probably 32 years old when I started, so I started late. My category is the lightweight division. I'm not a real big guy, but when I get on stage, I look big and I'm very conditioned. And that's where I really win and I beat the big guys. Even at my age, I beat the young guys still. Once you stand on that stage and people are looking at you, you become a different person. You wouldn't be like that in your real life. But that is the bug.
There to witness Dean catch the bodybuilding bug was wife-to-be Bridgett.
Just seeing him on stage like that, I was like, oh wow, he's like Superman. I was his little fan. I was oohing and ahhing around, and I was like, I want to do it next.
As well as being a safety technician and emergency first responder at a gas refinery, 47-year-old mum Bridgett began a grueling routine in preparation to compete on the world stage.
I'll get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym, I'll do an hour of cardio, I'll do my hour morning workout, I'll go to work 12 hours, I'll come home, I'll go back to the gym, I'll do an hour workout, and then I'll do another hour cardio. So I was getting like 3-4 hours of sleep.
And for the couple's 4 children, growing up with bodybuilding parents was a unique experience.
You stand up in class and they'd be like, tell us something cool about yourself. And I'd be like, so my parents are bodybuilders. What do your parents do? Growing up with bodybuilders as parents was intimidating for my friends. Like, boys did not come over.
It was definitely different. Like, I remember all my friends coming over and they're like, oh my God, your parents are so jacked. Like how do they do it?
I feel really blessed to have my family And I think to have a family that's all into bodybuilding is unique and awesome.
I have one son that does not like bodybuilding. He has a 2nd degree black belt. He's an amazing man.
Growing up with a bodybuilder family, it's fun in its own way though. When I was little, my dad would just work out while my mom taking care of her.
He's tried it. He's just not into it. He's his own man.
It wasn't long before 29-year-old Barsha and 25-year-old son Tyler followed in their parents' footsteps.
That was a good set. Yeah.
At the age of 18, Barsha competed in her first bodybuilding show.
Ended up placing 5th. I was absolutely mortified, like crushed, because in your head when you go into a show, like watching my parents compete, they always get number 1.
My sister did her first show and I saw her do it and I was like, wow, like this is amazing. Like this is totally for me.
And cheerleading coach, 27-year-old daughter Dina, was the last family member to join the team.
I loved how their bodies were changing and like the dedication they had. So that's how I kind of got into it. And they're like, we need a bikini girl. So I was like, well, okay.
Training as a family can get competitive, especially as mum Bridgett and daughter Barsha compete against one another in the women's physique category.
We are very competitive. My daughter and I do not play. We go hard in the gym and we go hard on stage. When I'm on the stage, I'm not her mother. She comes at me like a stranger and I come at her the same way.
I love my mom, please don't get me wrong, but I like to win. Training with her is great, it's great motivation. I love doing it, but when I know I can do something a little bit better than her, I mean, I feel great.
We're very competitive, and the boys, I believe they're the same way. They won't admit it, but they really are. You'll see.
Who's the strongest family member? We all have our strengths. I'm probably strongest.
Who's the strongest in the family? I would have to say probably me.
Coming up, find out what it takes to feed this family of bodybuilders and how they struggle to fight off temptation.
I am starving, so going into this grocery store is going to be a struggle.
But now we meet Mum and Dad, Pinky and Roly Janota, and their 5 monkey children. In the rural town of Beecher, Illinois, animal-mad Pinky and Roly Janota live on their farm, Settler's Pond.
Well, I chat more to the animals than to humans.
And are parents to 5 primate monkeys.
It's like raising a 2-year-old child on steroids. It's a constant thing. They demand your attention. You can't just leave them in a cage. And they want to bottle. They want to be held and cuddled and loved, and it's a very demanding job.
The monkeys joined the family after they were mistreated and abandoned by their previous owners.
The names of my monkeys are Maybelline, Max Factor, L'Oreal, Avon, and Mary Kay. Maybelline is the matriarch. She's the head of them. Mary Kay is the baby. She's a year-old. L'Oreal is my thumbsucker. You guys are funny. Come here. Come here. Avon is a bonnet monkey. Max was the sickest one that came in. He's 3 years old.
Max is laid back. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, buddy. How you doing?
He just is probably one of our calmer primates.
And just like human babies, the monkeys can make quite a mess.
When they were little, they weren't too bad, but when they get bait, like they'll jump over you or run around you, or you try to get them and they're gone. They're fast. They're a lot of fun though.
Pretty cool, huh, Max?
I make them breakfast, they get a bath, and then they play. And then we get cuddle time. You know, my husband will rock them as well. And then they do go to sleep, and they'll sleep all night through. They're very good.
But now the monkeys have been forced to move out of the family home after Pinky developed cancer.
I am spending less time with them now because I am ill, and I spend 18 hours on a machine that infuses nutrients and vitamins and minerals that my body's lacking. I miss them terribly. They miss me too. I can't bring them in as often as I would like to. So it's very hard to spend this kind of time with them. It's like having a bond that you have with your own children. It's a beautiful feeling to see them get excited when they see you walk in the room, and unconditional love, and no matter what happens, they're there to love you and you to love them.
But the family haven't always had a home full of exotic animals.
I used to own a restaurant, and I did catering. And my husband, he used to raise beef and dairy. It just wasn't very fulfilling. It wasn't what we wanted.
You're awake. Oh my goodness.
The couple sold their restaurant and dairy farm to start a new life at Settlers Pond, an animal sanctuary for abandoned and neglected creatures. Their family was about to get much bigger.
Settlers Pond went from just a couple animals and a few dogs to about 300 animals on a 60-acre facility. You ready for your breakfast? Through the years, they just keep coming in. We try not to turn anything away.
Some people think we're nuts, but it's been kind of rewarding. It's kind of neat because you get an animal that you don't see any way it's going to live, but it makes it.
Settlers Pond has become a charity rescue shelter with around 10 volunteers helping to care for the animals.
We got a horse that came in that had foundered, and we called the vet, and we have chose to give him a chance at life instead of euthanizing him. So we're going to clean his hoof and repack it and give him his meds. Come here, General.
Come on, bud.
Now, the family might be hairy, but they're also hungry, and feeding them doesn't come cheap.
It's very expensive. The specialty feeds that you need, the medical needs.
My husband used to work 50, 60, 70 hours extra a week overtime. Then we reach out to the public, which, you know, the public only does what they can do too. There are times that an animal needs a surgery and the mortgage needs to be paid. Sometimes the mortgage goes on the back burner for a little bit, and we just beg, borrow, and steal, I guess.
This is Bubba, the camel. He's a couple years old. He came in from Oklahoma. He's just like a dog. When I ride my moped up and back and forth to the barn, he chases up and down like a dog would chase you down the driveway. Bubba! Bubba!
Bubba the camel was rescued from a zoo in Missouri after it was forced to close down.
He was orphaned, and we went down and picked him up in the ambulance.
Next, the Janota family is about to get even larger. They must be quackers.
That happens almost every day here.
Now we are setting sail with the Giffords to experience family life on the ocean.
Our family has literally sailed around the world in a circumnavigation.
Meet the Gifford family. In 2008, Mum Bian, Dad Jamie and their 3 children embarked on a dream voyage around the globe and have been living on water ever since.
Welcome aboard. This is exciting for me to get to share what it's like to live on a boat that's a home. When we started, our kids were 4, 6, and 9 years old. And at that time, none of them were swimmers, which made us probably the worst parents in the world, taking our kids to live on a boat when they couldn't swim. Choosing to live adventurously on a boat and explore the world with my family was the best decision I ever made.
10 years on, the family have visited 48 countries, travelling over 58,000 miles.
We've been to Indonesia, Malaysia, South Africa, Lesotho, Grenada, Mexico, all over. I mean, too many to count, really.
Our family has literally sailed around the world in a circumnavigation, and that took us actually 8 years from the time that we went out. And when I think about how many places that actually is, it's overwhelming.
A lot of what we do are just things that we would never have been able to do if we stayed on land.
The Giffords are part of a growing but little-known community of people called cruisers, couples and families who spend months, even years, at sea, living on a boat.
It's exciting because we're going to head out and do something new, and it's relaxing because moving on the water is just, it's peaceful, it's wonderful.
But before the family cast off, their lives were very different back on land. As well as being a sailor, Dad Jamie owned a business distributing medical equipment, and Mum Bian worked in digital marketing.
Our life before we went cruising was one of comfort, of financial security. We had a large house in a high-demand area in one of the best school districts in our home state.
Despite their comforts on land, the family had a longing for a life on the ocean.
I had grown up with this idea that I wanted to live on a boat someday and go sailing around the world, and we thought it would be when we were retired or later on in life, but we had a really challenging year.
We had the birth of our second child, and 2 weeks later, my mother-in-law passed away. It was very unexpected.
It made us reevaluate or look at what's important in life, and we weren't spending time with each other, with our children as much as we wanted, so we sat down and we came up with this idea and we made a plan.
After planning for the next 6 years and saving almost $90,000 US, Mum and Dad quit their jobs, rented out the family home in Seattle, Washington, took the children out of school and loaded their lives onto a 47-foot sailboat they christened Totem.
Our parents had told us for a long time that we could be doing this big trip, and when it finally happened, we were all really excited.
When we took off as a family, we left San Francisco and sailed under the Golden Gate Bridge. It was really like we were starting again for the first time and doing it together. And it was exhilarating, and I'll never forget it, that moment that we were starting this grand adventure as a family.
For the next 10 years, the family lived and traveled the globe together and had to adjust to living in close quarters.
When we moved aboard, we were downsizing from a 5-bedroom house. And I don't even remember how many bathrooms it had. It had a bunch. And living on the boat, it's highly compact. We're fitting so much living into that space. We're fitting in both all 3 of the bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, a living space and a kitchen, which we call the galley, and our navigation station. All of this life into not even half of the size of our garage in the house that we gave up when we went cruising.
Day-to-day life, it's different every day. We show up into a new place. It can be figuring out provisions and groceries or fuel if we need fuel. It can be more of a field trip thing where we're in a cool place and we want to go out and see historical exhibits or museums or safaris, so we're going out looking for animals.
After 10 years living on a boat, the family have returned home. They have been docked for the last 2 months and are having to get used to being back on dry land. Their home, the good ship Totem, needs some maintenance.
This summer, we're taking time away from the boat to come back to the Pacific Northwest because it had to come out for a bit of work. So it's in a shipyard getting some necessary work done.
We've now been back for a couple of months, and it's changed a lot. The U.S. is a very different place. We feel in many ways like we're visitors in our home country.
The family's 3 children have spent the majority of their lives living at sea, so returning to land has been quite an adjustment.
The places we've been able to go, and the people we've been able to meet, and the things we've been able to see, the animals, the culture, especially coming back to the U.S. and getting into land life, going through the motions, and not having any of that anymore, I really started to feel it like, wow, I had it good.
Coming up, the family meet a new pair of cruisers and warn them of the potential dangers of the high seas.
We were in Australia before we left, and every Aussie we spoke to was basically like, you're gonna die.
But now back in Canada with the Annett family, who are trying their best not to cheat on their diets.
I am probably the worst one. I'm the closet eater of the family.
I've heard of coming out the closet, but not for ice cream. Come on.
After an intense workout, Dad Dean and daughter Barsha are heading to the supermarket to buy supplies for the household.
Chicken?
Chicken, probably steak, spinach.
S01, It's not for everybody. And to be successful, you have to love it.
But shopping for this bodybuilding family can be expensive.
It costs about $300
A week.
a week, yeah.
Yeah, so it's expensive. There's no extras in there, no sweets, no sugars, nothing like that. It's only what's on the diet, and that goes back to the house.
I am starving. So going into this grocery store is gonna be a struggle. Survival is at its peak today, let me tell you.
To be a bodybuilder, you must follow a strict diet, and in the lead up to a show, the family follow a process called prepping, a 4-month period of intense workout and dieting.
Once you switch from the off-season diet to the on-season diet to get ready for stage, it's 5 square meals a day, and you eat all meats in those meals. You have to decrease the carbs in order to lose some body weight and body fat. We got broccoli, got some green beans. You can see we got skinless, boneless chicken breasts. Temptation is huge, especially when you're dieting. The Lucky Charms caught my eye.
The chips.
The chips.
For me, I love chips.
My husband, I have caught him outside, hiding by the freezer on his hands and knees, and it's like, what are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? He's crouched down. What? Nothing. And he turns around, and there's brown stuff around his mouth. Well, what is that around your mouth, dear? I don't know. Well, that's not right. Chocolate ice cream. Okay, I couldn't help myself.
It's like Mission Impossible. You go in with a goal, you go in, you get out, you slap hands because you did it successfully, and you keep it moving.
I am probably the worst one. I'm the closet eater of the family.
I've heard of coming out the closet, but not for ice cream. Come on. We're human, so sometimes we do cheat on our diet. Not so much me, because I'm perfect, right?
When you catch someone cheating, like on their diet, if they're getting ready for a show, it's a lot of guilt trip. It's oh, so is your competitor doing that? I hope second tastes good. Things like that. So, you know, you don't want to mess up because you don't want to hear that. All right, Big Mo. All right, good job, Dad.
I'm not old. I'm not that old. We all hold each other accountable, trust me. My son, Tyler, he is the worst one. If he sees somebody eating something they shouldn't, he'll say, you aren't supposed to be eating that. That's not in your diet. And he will hold you accountable.
I'm making sure everything's running smoothly.
Oh my God, I miss it. Who wants fish?
It's so hard to stick to it, and the last month was horrible. The scraps are bad.
Don't touch them, they're mine.
I have 2, don't touch mine.
You don't have mine.
I have 2.
Leading up to a contest, bodybuilders must live on controlled portion sizes. The men of the family eat around 2,000 calories and the women around 1,500 calories per day.
People think bodybuilders are stupid. No. They're very intelligent. You have to know how to manipulate your body to do what it does. Anybody that can stand on that stage, they have to have discipline.
If the family stay disciplined and stick to their diets all week, they reward themselves with a junk-infused cheat meal.
Those are good days.
It's a free-for-all, I'm telling you right now.
Burgers, fries, chips.
I love sugar. Chocolate cake.
Burger and fries, and then I'll have some ice cream.
Mac and cheese balls wrapped in bacon and deep frying it twice.
I'll eat that double.
We'll go to sushi, we'll go to get a burger.
And when you finish, you feel sick.
Well, you're not supposed to go crazy, but we're crazy people. So.
Oh, they always crazy. Everybody in the house is crazy.
Coming up, Mum Bridgett hits the stage and Dad Dean shows off his tanning skills.
This is the best part of it.
But now, Pinky and Roly Janota show us some of the more exotic members of their family.
We got a call. They wanted to rescue 2 tigers.
The Janota's beloved monkey family are now unable to live in the household as Pinky continues her treatment for cancer.
You want your cookie? I miss him terribly, because each one of these is like my heart and my soul.
They might be her favourites, but the monkeys aren't the only creatures to steal Pinky's heart. The couple care for over 300 other rescued animals, and today they welcome another addition to the family.
Hi there. Yeah.
We came to relinquish our ducks. Couldn't keep them at home anymore, so wanted to make sure there was a safe place for them. We got them for Easter. It was about $2, $3 a piece. Didn't expect them to grow that big, that fast.
This family have fallen foul of rules restricting the ownership of poultry as pets, so they're left with no choice but to bring them to Settlers Pond.
That happens almost every day here. They get a pet and they can't take care of it anymore, or it grows, or it's something that they can't have. They choose to bring it to a non-kill shelter, and this is what we do.
I like it here. It's, I think they're gonna be much happier. They have more room to roam with other animals here. It seems like a very friendly place. So, absolutely. I've never seen anything like this before around here. It's different.
I feel pretty comfortable with leaving him here. This seems like a nice place.
I'll send you guys some video, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you guys. Have a safe trip.
Ducks and monkeys aren't the only creatures to find their way to Settlers Pond. The family answer distress calls to rescue all types of animals in their very own ambulances.
We've probably had about 40, 50 calls. You know, mostly dogs and cats and fallow deer and a camel.
Our area is very large. It's from Minnesota to New York to Florida to Oklahoma. And we travel that with 2 ambulances. And we get calls from people or businesses or organizations that need help.
The team travel far and wide, and it can sometimes put them in dangerous situations.
We got a call. They wanted to rescue 2 tigers. I guess they might have been somebody's pets, and then they started getting too rough to handle. So the crew went out, and they didn't know really what to do because it was kind of scary. It was new for everybody. And they actually were able to get them in there pretty good with nobody getting hurt. Got them rescued. You get in a situation where you just kind of got to figure out what's the best way where nobody gets hurt. Keep it safe.
Settlers Pond is one of only 5 rescue centres in the country licensed to care for domestic livestock and exotic animals, so the family's farm has become a home to creatures great and small.
These are my African-crested porcupines. They came in from a zoo in Branson, Missouri. So we picked them up in the ambulance, and she was pregnant. And they don't shoot their quills at you. They stomp their feet, they growl, and if you haven't moved by that time, I don't know what to tell you.
In some states in the US, you are not required to hold a license to have an exotic animal as a pet. So you never know what could be in your neighbour's backyard.
People go online and they can buy any kind of animal they want. And then after the person that's purchased the animal realizes that they can't care for it or it's not what they expected, then what do you do with it? And then it comes into our facility. I don't care if somebody wants a pet. They want to be noticed. Go paint your hair blue.
Coming up, the family have a monkey birthday party and the whole town is invited.
It's your birthday, right?
But now back on board with the Gifford family. And what would you do if you were in the middle of the ocean and your boat caught on fire?
We needed to find the source of the fire. It's somewhere on Totem.
To fund their seafaring adventures, Dad Jamie spends some of his time as a sailmaker, and Mum Bian has written a book about cruiser life. However, the family claim they are far from rich and live on just $30,000 a year.
Our life, it is pretty great in a lot of ways, but it isn't always like sitting in a hammock swinging, drinking a Mai Tai with an umbrella in it. It's actually really difficult. The hardest parts of it for me are actually the stress of financial uncertainty. It's taken me a really long time to get comfortable with. Our family went from having 2 really high incomes and sort of the American dream lifestyle in a very upscale part of the country to living below the federal poverty line. And becoming comfortable with that is an ongoing process.
One of the other ways they make some cash is meeting and coaching other families looking to start their own cruising adventure. Today, they are meeting Janae and John.
Ahoy! Come on board. Great to see you guys.
It's really great to have a chance to sit down with you guys. I think it would really help Jamie and I just to hear you talk about where you are and thinking about going cruising and what your major concerns are.
You know, we've looked at Mexico. We're worried a little bit. You know, you hear a lot of reports about, is it safe? Is it safe for cruisers? We have dogs. I'm not sure how that all works.
These are all things we can work through.
Although their life may look like a vacation, it hasn't all been plain sailing for the Giffords, and they have found themselves in some rough waters.
I could smell smoke. I could smell burning plastic, that acrid smell. It's probably 2 o'clock in the morning when this happens too. We needed to find the source of the fire. It's somewhere on Totem, and fiberglass boats like this are basically big plastic tubs in the water. You may only have a couple of minutes until you have to be off the boat for your own safety. And Jamie and I are frantically looking all over the boat. We finally honed in on it, and it probably only took 30 seconds, but that 30 seconds felt like forever. It was that water coming into the boat because of the really rough seas that we were having. A little had gotten into the charge controller for our solar panel, and it had caused a short. So Niall is up, and he's preparing for the possibility of abandoning ship. Fortunately, the fuse did what the fuse is supposed to do. Power was cut off to the charge controller, and there was no further risk of fire. This is actually one of the scariest things that we've experienced in a decade on the boat.
Apart from some of the dangers of cruiser life, the couple are also keen to know what it's like living as a married couple on board.
So you guys are together a lot. I mean, you're on the boat all the time. Are there times you wish you could, you know, get away? Does it work all the time? How does that work?
Yes, there are times that we each need to get away.
Yeah, our boat is a very small house, but we have a big backyard. It's easy to jump in the dinghy and go for a walk on the beach or go for a swim or...
We're with each other 24/7, and before we went cruising, we had busy jobs, and we might see each other for a few hours a day, and that would be it. And it's a big difference when you're with each other all the time.
For a typical teenager, no escape from mum and dad may feel like a big challenge.
This is the kids' end, forward of the mast. Our son has a cabin on the port side with 2 bunk beds, and then the girls share a cabin all the way at the front. And they like to say there's an invisible line down the middle, but really they're basically sharing the equivalent of a big double bed.
For the Gifford kids, living on the boat is all they have ever known.
The only things I ever really remember are just little fragments of what it was like before we were living on the boat and what had happened after.
It's everything I've known since I was little, so it's kind of hard to have a perspective of what it would be like from a land life.
I guess if you're living in a house and you think of living on a cramped little boat, it must be no privacy whatsoever, you know? But you get used to it, and it's really not nearly as bad as I think you'd imagine.
We don't fight that much. Part of it is because we're in such close quarters that I get along very well with my siblings, usually. Most of the time.
Growing up at sea means the children are boat schooled, with mum and dad providing all their education whilst on board.
Here in the main cabin is really where most living takes place. Around the table, we have our meals. Homework happens here, having shelves on the outboard side where we can keep all of the kids' books, their school books. But overwhelmingly, yeah, this is our living space.
I've been homeschooled, and I went to a normal school when we were in Australia, so I think I have both perspectives, and I enjoy both.
I think we have more experiences, for the ones my age at least. But not with others, like with normal school life. I think I'm a little different with that. I need to adjust. And I'm not as good at socializing as my siblings.
When I look at the incredible wealth of opportunities that we've had as a family and that we have been able to give our children, it's been worth every compromise that we made along the way.
Next, the family share their final meal on board before saying bon voyage to son Niall as he heads off to college.
I'll turn my back and I'll be like...
But now it's time for a special birthday party at the farm with the Janota family.
Happy birthday to you.
Back at Settlers Pond, today the Janota family are having a community open day at the farm to celebrate their monkeys' birthdays.
Can we sing to them?
Happy birthday, dear monkeys.
Happy birthday, dear May, Max, Maybelline, Ava. Day to you. Here.
It warms my heart to see all these people come out here and show their support for us. I mean, when you get blue and down and you start doubting things, this makes it all worthwhile. It really does. Normally they don't get things like this, but
it's your birthday, right?
And today here to lend a helping hand is Monkey Grandma and Pinky's mum, Janet.
It's wonderful, and with all the volunteers and such, you just can't believe so many people want to help with something like this.
To keep Settlers Pond running, the family rely on donations from the public, and today the community has been very generous.
Well, you've been collecting for a while, haven't you? Dog food, cat food, we use a lot of paper towels, and bleach is our major sanitizer. And then we do, excuse me, my husband does probably 40 loads of dog bedding a week. Pretty much everybody donates anything. We can use everything.
And that support is just what the family and the animals need as Pinky continues to battle with her illness. But there are no signs of her slowing down just yet.
It's tough on her, and she wasn't as tough as she is. I think it would be a lot harder.
How can you slow down? These guys got to eat every day.
That's what amazes me about her. She just, no matter what comes on, she kind of figures it out and makes it work.
Even now that she's ill, you know, she keeps going. You can see her walking around with her IV pulse, so I couldn't be more proud or pleased with the woman she's grown up to be.
It's just beautiful. I really was surprised, and I was shocked at the amount of people that showed up. To tell you the truth, I was really down and depressed. So I wasn't. This was beautiful.
It turned out wonderful, honey. You did a good job.
Don't you start crying. Yeah, there's Mamie. I couldn't imagine my life without doing all of this. I don't think I'd know how to survive. I wouldn't know.
Back on board with the Gifford family, and they are preparing to say their final goodbyes to eldest son Niall, as tomorrow he is heading off to Lewis and Clark College in Portland. Tonight, they have decided to have one last family dinner on board together.
What we eat just depends on where we are and what we can get and what's fresh. And, you know, today there was some good peppers and onion and some sausages, and there's dinner.
In Thailand, we learned to cook lab, and in South Africa, we learned to cook baboti. In the Maldives, it was mashuni. And so these are now part of our family's cooking culture, and it's fun to have those.
South Africa has a lot of really good meats. Thailand has really good street food.
I think we eat exceptionally well. It may not be fancy, but it's healthy and it's interesting and it's good.
And with the good ship Totem losing its first crew member in over a decade, the family are getting ready to say goodbye to Niall as he begins his new life on dry land.
Niall, how's it going to feel when you're at school and we're off in the tropics?
I'll turn my back and I'll be like, yes.
No, you won't.
I won't.
There'll be a feeling of loss in a way, but I also feel like it's another adventure, it's another journey for him, and I'm super excited for him.
I know it's not going to be easy for him, but he's a strong kid and he's a smart kid. I just hope it's not too difficult to find his way. When we put the boat back in the water and we sail away and you're not there, I need tissues. That's going to be hard. We're going to miss you.
Yeah.
Come here.
I'm glad to be moving on to the next stage of life, you know, college and new things to learn, but I am going to miss the boat. I'm going to miss traveling a lot.
And with Niall flying the nest, living on land is not on the horizon for the rest of the family just yet.
For our family, it's getting Totem back into shape and make her ready to go again, and we'll do that in Mexico, which is a terrific cruising area, and then hoping to get back out into the Pacific.
There's so many parts of the world that we can't wait to see that we haven't yet. This way of life has changed me profoundly. It's enabled me to find happiness I can't imagine having found otherwise. It's brought me closer to my family.
For the Annetts, a life competing all over the world has taught the family some valuable lessons, and one bump in the road could be the difference between first place or going home empty-handed, as Mum Bridgett found out in a competition in Florida back in July 2018.
There was an accident on the highway. We got to the airport a minute late, missed our flight, bought new tickets, came back, flew out again the next day, and I gained 10 pounds in the air.
When you fly, you hold water. Water is not good because you can't see any of the muscle when you're holding water.
Before a big show, these buff competitors attempt to drain out water from their bodies in the hope of looking as shredded as possible.
Sometimes the air pressure causes your body to swell. And with me, it's just one of those things that happens.
To get rid of the extra carry-on weight Bridgett gained on the flight, she was forced to do rigorous cardio, take saunas, whilst reducing her water intake.
That night I had to get the water out, so I sucked it all out. So I lost like 12 pounds overnight. And my body just shut down.
You look your best, but you feel the worst. She was upset. She said, I don't think I can do the show. I said, we're here, you're gonna have to make do.
But despite the treacherous journey, Bridgett made it to the competition.
This is the best part of it.
Samantha, Samika Cash. Yeah, she's gonna be amazing.
The day of the show, I looked after all their paint, I looked after all their shine, and I made sure they were, their color and skin looked perfect, and it was.
You gotta trust her. We've been married 28 years, right? So he knows what he's doing. The ladies come to him.
In a last-ditch effort to get water out of her body, Bridgett eats salt before she goes on stage. But is that healthy?
Is it healthy? No. Is it a temporary unhealthy thing to do? Yes, it is. Is it gonna affect my health down the road? No.
Bridgett's months of hard work have been leading up to this moment, but will it be enough to impress the judges?
Unfortunately, I had some setbacks, some major cramping that day, so I couldn't pose like I should.
She was too conditioned. She was too hard. That is not what they were looking for. They were looking for a more softer, gentle physique.
I wound up coming in 7th place, but hey, this is the pro league, so wherever you come in, just to get on the stage, you're doing it.
For Bridgett and Dean, competitions are about more than just flexing their muscles and are a chance to spend some quality time together as a family.
Seeing my family compete on stage, it's really indescribable because I know what it's like to put all that effort and time into stepping on stage. Whether you win or lose, it's a success.
My biggest achievement at this point is having my family compete with me. When you stand on stage with your whole family, there is nothing in the world that feels like that. And they're carrying on your legacy, the same love you have for the sport.
And with their first grandchild, Hunter, already initiated into the squad, could we see 3 generations of bodybuilders together on one stage?
When I have kids, are they going to be bodybuilders? Yes, because their genetics really good.
today's modern world, is there such a thing as normal family life?
Who's to say what's normal?
Some families enjoy a dangerous life. Some crave a relaxing life, and some just like the wild life. In this series, we'll be visiting households across the globe to celebrate the wonderful, the inspirational, and the eccentric. Welcome to the world's most extraordinary families. In this episode, the remarkable family who live every day knowing that their bones could break as easily as glass.
I've had probably 150 to 200 broken bones throughout my lifetime.
The super strong Vegas family who are so competitive failure is not an option.
If I come to a competition, I'm going there to win.
But first, the family who are getting ready for the end of the world.
If you took your scariest experience and then multiply that times 100, it'd probably be like what that was.
Behind the doors of this nondescript apartment in New York lives a family of preppers.
A prepper is somebody who prepares for a disaster, right? So whether that's a small local disaster to the grand disaster, you're prepared for an emergency.
The Charles family, Dad Jason, Mum Angelique, and their children Maverick and Haley are all expert at prepping.
Prepping is going camping, but not really.
A prepper is like doing camping, but showing people how to do stuff. Teaching how to, like, you know, carve, start fires, and do other things like that.
You could show them what to pack or something that is compared to that.
I prepare for all of it, you know, with the exception of a meteor smashing into this planet. I mean, reasonable things like civil unrest, pandemics, tornadoes, tsunamis, earthquakes, you know, we're good to go.
But despite the threats that nature poses, Jason's biggest fear is man-made.
Financial collapse. You know, but then again, with everything going on with the volcanoes erupting left and right, who knows, you know? Could Yellowstone go? It could. It can go tomorrow, it can go 500 years from now. But I'm a little more concerned with the financial collapse.
New York City firefighter Jason first became interested in prepping in 2010, and soon his hobby began to take over his life, his cupboards and his hallways.
It was slow at first, then it just progressively went into bags and how to pack the bags, and he did a lot of research. So before you know, he was like in a group, you know, New Yorkers that prep also, and then somebody just reached out to him to do a show, and it just warped into like this whole lifestyle for him. And then we kind of got absorbed into it as well.
This is my food pouch with my food, utensils.
Jason now produces a successful YouTube channel, followed by thousands of subscribers where he shares his prepping expertise.
I thought it was kind of crazy. But after 9/11, I always felt like I had to be prepared for something.
The devastating attacks on the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan also had a dramatic effect on Jason, who at the time was serving as an emergency medical technician, or EMT.
I became an EMT in 2000, September. And a year later, the 9/11 attacks happened. And I responded off duty. And, you know, everybody knows what happens after that. You became an EMT and you work for the city or a fireman or a cop, it was your job to respond.
On 9/11, I went into work, didn't know what was going on. I had left so late, and I didn't see what was going on. So none of us were prepared. I just was so lucky that I had sneakers at my desk. So I would say, like, at least have something prepared at your job. Water, pills, any kind of medicine that you need, shoes, socks, anything that you think you would need to get out.
Yeah, when they collapsed, it was time to run. You know, and then when you ran, it was almost like a sense of I'm dead, but gotta try anyway. If you took your scariest experience and then multiply that times 100, it'd probably be like what that was.
But it wasn't his exposure to the devastation of 9/11 that got Jason and his family prepping. Their interest started after Jason read a book about an attack on the USA that knocked out power and sent the country back to the Dark Ages.
They talked about this being a possible attack, how this can happen, and this could, millions of people will die and all. And then with that, I closed the book and flipped out and started prepping. Just started buying things that I didn't need, spending money that I shouldn't spend. And nonetheless, now I'm here, ready with all this gear and food, hoping it doesn't happen,
But what sort of threats are the Charles family prepared for, and what exactly would make them leave the Big Apple and head for the hills?
So there's certain things you can see coming and you leave ahead of time, and there are other things that you wait it out and see where it goes. You have to use your judgment. Anything that has to do with bad air, like a nuclear attack, a blizzard, of course, hurricanes, you stay home. Civil unrest, people acting a fool outside, and you don't have any way to protect yourself, like no guns, stay indoors. If it's a situation where people are dying off because of a disease, a pandemic of some kind.
But whatever the emergency, Jason is ready for anything.
So this is my end of the world closet. It's a joke, just easy to identify, but this is where I keep all my preps. And other things, like Christmas decorations, things like that. But most of our supplies are in here. I would say probably around 6 months or so of food and water in here.
Water is super important. You could live 30 days or more without food, but without water, you can only live maybe 3 days.
As well as his cupboard, Jason also has a secret storage unit across town where he keeps even more supplies.
And then in the storage unit, we have another 6 months worth of food and water there. That's not including the food that we keep underneath the bed, which is probably another month or two. So in the house, we probably have running between 7 to 8 months worth of food. Canned goods, MREs. MREs are meals ready to eat. They're those military pouches that food in.
Processed foods, say noodles, dehydrated foods. We even have dehydrated milk. We even bought a dehydrator to dehydrate our own fruits and vegetables.
Vacuum sealed strawberries and bananas. I did this 2 years ago, 3 years ago? No, 4 years ago. Pretty sure this is not great.
Unfortunately for Jason, his dehydrated delights don't go down that well with the kids.
I'd be like, I'm gonna throw up, so I'll take a pass.
Well, this, which I want to show you, this is what an MRE looks like. There's 2 meals in here. But then you have all the extra stuff, the toasted pastry, crackers, tortillas, dessert bars, beef jerky, hot sauce, hand cleaner, caffeinated gum, This stuff, this First Strike stuff is expensive.
I'm a financial person. I work in finance, and for all the money that my husband has spent on prepping has kind of given me a headache.
I went bananas buying this stuff. Like the first 3-4 months, I must have spent $2-3 grand, easy. Right, so I definitely have probably touching 15 grand worth of stuff.
In the beginning, it was hard, but now I've just learned to be like, whatever, okay, fine. Because I know it's for the better interest of the entire family.
Later on, we'll be finding out how Jason and the kids get ready in case disaster strikes. But now, the remarkable family who refuse to let their disabilities stop them enjoying life to the full. Meet Lisa Ferrario and Chris Lamoureux, who live in Denver, Colorado. This couple live with a rare condition called osteogenesis imperfecta.
It's a rare brittle bone disorder. The collagen in our bone isn't like everybody else's, and we break a lot of bones.
I've probably broken 150 to 200 bones. I kind of lose count after a while. Probably lost count at about 100.
But what makes this couple even more remarkable was their decision to adopt a child with exactly the same condition.
Hi, my name is Annett Lamoureux. I'm 15 years old, and I love my bird and art. I was born in Belize, and when I was 7 years old, I got adopted by my parents, Lisa and Chris Lamoureux.
We flew to Belize. We drove straight to the children's home to meet her, and she was sitting there. Her bag was sitting next to her. Her bags were packed. She was ready to go.
When I first met my parents, I was just waiting for them, kind of nervous. Then they came out, and I saw my mom, my grandma, my aunt, my dad, which was so cool, and I was like immediately ready to go home to my family.
She never looked back. She never once was scared. It was just like she knew that she was going to be part of our family, and it was meant to be, and she fit in from the very first second.
It was amazing.
It was important to us to adopt a child that had OI, just because we felt that we could give that child the best life. So we looked through an adoption agency, and finally they found Annett, and she was in Belize, and we applied for the adoption. It took about 2.5 years.
We had a lot of conversations about it, but I mean, I think we knew we wanted to be parents, and we also knew that with our shared experience of growing up with OI, we wanted to be able to share that with somebody.
They know when I'm hurting, or how to deal with that and how to take care of that, and you know what hospitals to go to and what doctors to see. A normal family would not know anything about that. So that's pretty cool.
But as Lisa and Chris know all too well, their condition is not only debilitating, it can also be very painful.
I have had probably 150 to 200 broken bones throughout my lifetime. Chris the same, and probably Annett is close to the same. It happens a lot when you're younger. I think as you get older and go through puberty and grow up a bit, the fractures happen less.
A lot of times when I broke stuff as a kid, it was because I was doing something stupid. Like I played wheelchair basketball, which is really not something someone with OI should do.
But as Annett found out recently, you don't have to be playing sports for injuries to occur.
In school, I was reaching back for my folder, and my arm just popped, and I knew that it was going to be a break.
But she heals very quickly, and we all have a pretty high pain tolerance, so she's not down for long.
But living with osteogenesis imperfecta, or OI, means a regular home would make life very different for Lisa and her family, so they had theirs specially modified.
The counters are lower, as well as the stove. It's lower so I can reach the burners. And the cabinets below have been taken out so that I can easily put my chair under like this.
Although living with OI can be a challenge, Annett doesn't let it stop her enjoying one of her favourite hobbies.
I started painting at the age of 3, and when I got adopted, my mom could tell that I really like art and stuff, and said, why don't you see if you want an art lesson? My favorite thing about painting is expressing my feelings through my artwork and making other people happy. That's a big part about why I like painting so much. Sometimes there will be like one stroke that really pops out, like this stroke right here. And I just leave it be.
And Annett has certainly put her talents to good use.
I auctioned off 2 paintings that sold for $100,000 for a children's hospital.
The colors that she uses and the way she expresses herself is so vibrant and brings everything to life. Just kind of like her and her personality, which is awesome. And I'm happy that she uses these things for good, like she donated the money, raised money for Children's Hospital here in Colorado. And I think that's a really good way to use her talent.
And we'll be catching up with Lisa and her family later as they show off their talents to a global audience. But now we're off to Sin City and the family who have an extraordinary claim to fame. Fabulous Las Vegas is famous the world over for its nightlife, its casinos, and the golden mile that is the Vegas Strip. This Nevada city is also home to a rather unique family.
Hi, my name is Callie Best, and I have the strongest family in the world.
Callie and her family, Dad Nick, son Dylan, and daughter Jessica, or JJ, might not be as renowned as their hometown, But between them, they hold several world records and have been awarded hundreds of trophies and won competitions around the world. They're also really, really strong.
I've been the two-time lightweight champion in the US. I've won Nevada's Strongest Woman. I've won an international contest up in Canada. If I come to a competition, I'm going there to win. More weight.
I won 6 straight California Best Lifter. I got into strongman in 2005. I have like 5-6 world records in strongman still. Broke 11 world records, but I still hold 6 of them.
My family is very extraordinary. Like, not a lot of people can do what we can do. Out of all my friends, I'm the strongest.
We're definitely not like normal families. I've never really had a garage, like ever. Like my whole garage all the time has been a gym.
I met Callie on Valentine's Day, 2008.
I was sitting at a table with some of our strongman friends, and he got out of the elevator. And it was like something out of a movie where we looked at each other, we saw each other, our eyes locked.
And we couldn't take our eyes off one another. She's one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen, and just was like, wow.
I guess you could say it was love at first sight. And of course I looked away and I said, hey, who's that guy getting out of the elevator? And our friend goes, oh, that's Nick Best. And the rest is history, I guess.
For this super strong family, it's no surprise that staying active is a really important part of their life.
We do have a thing at our household that is mandatory for the kids to compete in something.
Yeah, right, I know.
They need to be athletic, they need to develop the habits of training and eating so that as they get older, they can still enjoy their life.
All kids should play sports, all kids should be active. The problem is that kids are sitting around and not doing enough. If kids were all playing sports, we would have a lot less problem with obesity in America.
But in this household, taking part is not the aim of the game.
Participation trophies, those don't mean anything. It's like...
Oh, I think they're garbage. When my children bring home participation medals, I will throw them away. Congratulations, you have a pulse? No. Teaching them how to work hard, have a good work ethic, be tough, and follow through is more important than congratulations, you showed up.
Everybody participates. The person in first place obviously worked a lot harder, and the person in last place didn't really try.
And when your daughter can do this, who are we to argue?
Jessica's really strong. She can flip a 200-pound tire. She can pick up like a 50-pound keg. She can deadlift her body weight and a little over.
But understandably, Nick and Callie have faced criticism for letting their kids lift weights at such a young age.
We've gotten criticism about the kids working out, and again, I just tell them, well, you don't know what you're talking about. And most of the doctors, in fact, really don't know what they're talking about.
People have opinions about everything. People say, oh, that kid's gonna be short. They would say that about Dylan all the time. Dylan is like towering over me. He's as tall as Nick.
I'm not having them do anything that's going to hurt them.
Scientific journals of medicine are doing studies about weight-bearing exercises for kids and how it does help to densen their bones. If your bones are dense, it doesn't mean they're not gonna grow. Your bones are gonna grow.
People just don't know or understand. And a lot of the old way of thinking that was completely incorrect is still being taught by a whole lot of people.
Whatever they are, they're always experts in their own heads about things.
And we'll be back with the Best family later as Nick lifts the lid on his pre-competition diet. But now we're heading back to the Big Apple and the family who are preparing for the worst case scenario. Today, our preppers, the Charles family, are practicing how to pack their emergency essentials, or as it's known, the bug-out bag.
Well, I'll show you what's inside the bug-out bag. This is my comprehensive medical kit. Band-Aids, gauze, Tylenol, wipes, and a tourniquet, again, just in case for serious bleeds. I also have a tweezer. I do carry a surgical sewing kit if you have an arterial bleed or something like that. It's not in this bag. Actually, I don't know where the hell it is. Water jug, water canteen, emergency bar, okay, this tastes like crap. My first bug-out bag had a lot of gear in it, and there was a lot of crap I didn't have to carry. Now that the kids are older, they can carry their own stuff. But the wife carries a tent, so my bag is minimal now.
But in the prepping world, practicing in your living room only gets you so far. Nothing beats heading out into the wild for a field test, which Jason shares on YouTube.
The next footage you're gonna see is me building or have my shelter built and hopefully my fire, not hopefully, and my fire going. This is my setup. I decided to build a firewall after all, as you can see there. And it's pretty warm in there.
But for Jason, a big part of prepping is sharing his bushcraft skills with his family, and today is no exception.
Today we're taking them to the park. We're gonna teach them how to get a fire started.
I never did this before ever, and I'm excited.
I'm not a drill instructor screaming at them 3 o'clock in the morning, get up, we gotta go, you know, banging pans, and I've seen that before, so we don't do that, but you try to keep it fun with them.
I love the fact that he's teaching the children so that they're ready, they know.
Hold it like that, angle it down. You get them to get used to the tool, scraping it to get a spark, then you get them used to the kind of tinder that it's gonna take to get the fire started. There you go.
There we go.
When they first started, they were 2 and 3. So now that they're 9 and 10, it's so much easier for them to even talk about and explain to other people what they have.
I was able to do a spark.
None of my friends could do it at all.
Knowledge is king. We've done certain things like bug out weekends and stuff like that. We do have our bug out bags ready to go. First aid kit. There you go.
If someone got hurt, basically, for example, my brother, I would take out my first aid kit and get to work.
You know that, you know, the wife would know what to grab and when to leave.
And then this is my toothbrush that I don't often use.
Everybody is paranoid until it happens. And then when it happens, the first steps would just be to watch and see. Don't panic, you know? You don't want to be the idiot hanging out in the woods and then nothing's going on, you know? If you interview other preppers, you'd be surprised at how some of them think. They think just because they have everything, they're good. It doesn't work that way. It's an ugly game, but it's years of practice. It's years of thinking about all the things that can happen and how you're gonna counteract each thing that might happen.
And we'll be catching up with the Charles family later as Dad serves up dinner with a difference. But now, back in Colorado, Lisa and her family are preparing for a meal of their own. In Denver, Chris and Lisa are a couple that go way back.
When Chris was born, his doctor actually put his parents in contact with my mom, because I'm a bit older than he is, and said, can you come to the hospital because we have this baby that was born that has a Y, and maybe show the parents and talk to them about how do you pick that child up, change that child's diapers, or carry that child. So she did that, and that's when we first met Chris and his family. And then we were friends for like 5 or so years, close friends, and then his family moved away.
The pair kept in touch for more than 20 years before finally meeting up and falling in love.
I was at Stanford for grad school, and I started coming out here every other week to visit her. And eventually she convinced me to move here. Shortly after that, I decided to buy an engagement ring.
Yeah, it's a pretty great love story. Mm-hmm.
But for Chris, Lisa wasn't the only love of his life.
I'm a space dork. I've been a Star Wars dork since I was like 6.
And this lifelong passion eventually led to a successful career with a certain little organisation called NASA.
I was a mechanical design engineer, and I'm very proud of the work I did there. I helped invent the weightlifting machine that the astronauts use on the International Space Station right now. It's been up there since 2008.
And Chris isn't the only genius in the household.
High five. All right. Oh my God, there's so many things I can talk about Bourbon. He, in the day, likes to sleep, okay? But then, He can also use the toilet, like the normal toilet. He'll jump up on the toilet and poop or pee. He's just amazing. He has a huge character.
Hi, I know. I need to switch chairs with you, Bourbon. We rescued him from a place here in Denver as well, and he is fantastic. He's another companion for us. He's super smart. He does many things that cats don't usually do. He sits up on our chair, and he rides around the house with us, and he provides entertainment and comfort to us as well.
And there's another member of this extraordinary household that the family couldn't do without.
Okay, good job. Pearl is the very best dog ever. She is a golden doodle. She turned 5 this year. Pearl was born with a cleft palate, and so her breeder could not sell her like the other puppies. And the trainer who trained her saw something in Pearl that was perfect for our family, and she asked if we would be interested in having a service dog. And of course we were. And she was trained to do certain tasks for us that we may need, but she picks up everything that we drop. She is a constant companion for us. She sits with Anisi when she hurts herself and comforts her, which is so awesome. And she closes the refrigerator.
Close it. Yay, all right, good job.
She can throw things away. She gets a Kleenex.
Thank you, good job.
She does all sorts of tasks for us that, again, the average person might take for granted that you drop your keys. But for us, dropping our keys are like, oh.
And you don't realize how often you drop stuff and you guys can just lean down and pick it up, no problem. And, you know, that's really hard for us. So that's really nice to have Pearl to help.
Thank you. Go get Bourbon's dish. Good girl, thank you. Okay, let's head down here and give you some food.
But whilst Bourbon and Pearl have been catered for, cooking for the rest of the family is often a lot more involved.
I have a little cooking show on YouTube. It's called The Little Chef.
Hey everyone, I have Anisi here with me, and today we are going to make Jada's chicken marsala meatballs. Woo! Slippery little meatball, come back here.
I love cooking. It's something that I can do and I enjoy. I think it's kind of how I express love to my family. And it's just a cool time to spend together and to show people what we can do and what we can make. And then at the end, we get to eat it all. So that's good too.
Today, the stars of the show are embracing their Italian heritage and taking Lisa's mum Diane, Auntie Dot and their friend Stacey to stock up on ingredients for tonight's cooking show.
So right now we are all headed to Valenti's Deli. Good Italian stuff. Aunt Dot loves these, so for sure we're gonna buy these for dessert. And now we're going to go look at the meat counter and buy some mortadella and some meats. We're gonna get some mild Italian sausage, one of these rolls just like that for tonight.
In tonight's edition of The Little Chef, Lisa's dish of Italian meatballs in sauce has been handed down from her Auntie Dot. But is Dot willing to share her secret recipe with us?
Oh no, that's...
No, then I'd have to kill you.
I think there's a misconception that when you see just an average friend hanging around with some people that maybe have some physical challenges, that it's a helping situation, when that's not the case.
Good to see you. Come to see us again soon. Bye, Dot. Take care. Everybody that comes through the front door is unique, and I think we could all take a cue from their family. They're just amazing people.
We'll be catching up with Lisa and her family shortly as the curtain rises on the latest instalment of The Little Chef. But first, we're heading back to Vegas with the best family. And what better way to spend an afternoon in the Nevada sun than dragging a truck down a road? Back in Vegas, and strongman Nick Best has a serious rival to contend with.
Dylan and I are starting to get a lot more competitive together because he's finally starting to catch up, and there's a few things he can beat me in now. I used to run faster than him, and I used to tease him. I'm like, bud, you can't run faster than a 300-pound old man. You need to run faster. You can run faster than me now.
But he doesn't have abs like these, you know? Look, you don't have them like me. He's not built like me. I would say me and my dad sometimes have little moments of like masculinity. Like we, sometimes I try to mess with him, you know, because you always gotta mess with your dad. I come up and like start punching him or start, you know, trying to wrestle him. Then he'll just flip me, and then I'm on the floor the next moment. I was just like, oh, yep, now I know why you're the boss and I'm not. So.
And it's not just Dylan and his dad who are competitive.
We are all very competitive. You know, races to the mailbox, the last one there.
JJ won. She cheated, but she won.
Well, you cheated too.
She cheated first.
No.
It's very competitive, I would say. My stick just like happened to hit your stick.
My stick just happened to hit your ball.
No, that's not how that works. All right, we're gonna do a pull-up contest. We're competitive in like everything we do. Me and JJ are always competing. Who can hold on longer?
Yeah.
All right.
It's fun to have those competitive things with your kids.
Why did I do this? You were a gymnast, this isn't fair.
They're like any brother and sister. I mean, they fight a little bit.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. I won.
Like we have this little handshake that we do, and we always try to be the fastest person to do it.
We monkey around, and we just have a good time at it. But it does push us to work hard.
I mean, he really does a good job being a big brother to her. He really does.
Dylan, he is like the brother of my dreams. He's my best friend. I hang out with him every day, and he's just really awesome.
Oh, I don't think I can do anymore. I think I'm falling, JJ.
Yeah, that was pretty dramatic. We always challenge each other to like do races or something with our lacrosse sticks or something fun.
You cheated twice, I only cheated once.
But Dylan knows all too well if he wants to compete with his world record-holding dad, he's got to pull his weight.
Looks like Dylan's doing a truck pull.
We're gonna be pulling a 5,000-pound truck today.
And today, the family's friends and neighbours have turned up to offer their support.
I love it when the kids come over and they train and do stuff instead of playing video games or watching TV. It's gonna be fun to watch. We might have to attach the tire though to the back just to make it harder for them.
Oh, Dad, no, we're not adding a tire.
It'll probably turn it into a 20,000+ pound vehicle, the equivalent to.
Normally, you have momentum and it doesn't really slow you down, but this is gonna be dragging, which is gonna make it a lot harder.
If I make it easier, it won't get any better.
I'm ready, I'm ready.
Ready, go! Come on, keep moving. Faster, 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 come on. There, drive. You're in the zone, drive. You're over the hill. You're over the hill, come on, faster. Drive your feet. Go. Yeah!
My legs are a little on fire right now.
Very proud.
And after that tiring experience, it's Nick's turn to do some working out. But right now, he's working out how to fuel his 308-pound body in time for this weekend's annual Mr. Olympia event.
If I sit around and don't do anything all day, I'm still burning 3,500 calories without fail.
And believe it or not, Nick's actually trying to put on a few pounds.
With Nick having to try to make weight this upcoming weekend for his competition, we need to make sure that his diet is right on point.
2 cups of ground beef, carrots. A lot of this stuff you prepare ahead of time so it doesn't take that long. There's about 2 cups of white rice. And the reason why you eat this is it's very easily digested. Organic chicken stock. 2 minutes. And when that's done, we're good to eat.
We'll be back in Vegas later as the day of the big competition dawns for Nick. But now, in New York, it's dinner time in the Charles household.
Okay, so this is an MRE, meals ready to eat. Military foods, and under the right conditions, they can last for years. All right, so this is an old one. This was probably on the box.
My favorite food is spaghetti. Mine's is steak.
This one's called marinara sauce and meatballs. It probably tastes like crap. This is sort of like a backup, right? You fall back on these. You don't eat them right away. All right, so whatever canned goods we have in the closet, we'll go through that first. Once we hit these, we know we have Probably 6 months. This actually expired 3 years ago, according to the code. Maybe longer than that, actually. 8 years ago.
Expired 8 years ago.
Yeah. This should be fun. If the kids start puking, then it's bad.
If it's expired, I'm not eating. I don't want to throw up.
This stuff lasts forever, guys. It doesn't get old.
Wait, so can I eat it? If it's good, I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
The good thing about boiling it in a pan, you could keep using the water. So in a disaster situation, you don't want to keep draining the water out. You let this water be the boiled water. And of course, if it evaporates a little bit, you add a little more to it, but you don't dump the whole thing out every time you're done with it.
So as the tension mounts, what's the verdict on the 8-year-old meatballs?
Oh, that's good.
This is the only one I would tolerate.
I think a beef stew might be good too.
We have the beef stew.
Oh my god.
You want?
I want again.
Here you go. Kids need to adapt to what they could eat, so they know that the possibility is there. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen next year or 20 years from now. So it's good that they open themselves up to trying it out, and that they like it, because we got a ton of that crap. So.
For Jason, it's not the threat of nuclear war, civil unrest, or a tsunami that keeps him going, though. It's spending time with and protecting his loved ones.
Family is very important. I think with society today, we've gotten away from that. I think people are selfish. When you start being selfish and only thinking about yourselves and all the trips you can go on and all the places you can see, guess what? I do that with my kids. We take them on trips, we go places. Family is important. Family is what's going to carry you through any disaster, you know. But selfishness, it's not.
Lisa and her family are setting the scene for the latest instalment of their online culinary adventure, The Little Chef.
Anisi's gonna set the camera up, adjust, and the lights. I record and I'll say like, okay, stop, now we're gonna do this and that. No, a little bit higher.
Okay.
No, other side.
Okay.
This gives me a time to boss mom. No,
That would put this
you have
in
to
here.
put it other way, Mom.
Front
You
back
have
up.
to turn it.
Alrighty.
What's that?
This is the basil and the garlic.
Okay. I'm ready.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Little Chef. Today I am so pleased that I have my Aunt Dot here all the way from Florida. It's awesome to show people that someone with a disability can cook fantastic things, just like anybody, and maybe inspire some people that don't think they can because of a physical limitation to go ahead and cook. Okay, you're gonna tell me when?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it when yet?
Now it's when.
Now it's when. Okay. All right, so now we're going to have to put our hands in here.
Okay, you gonna do it or you want me to do it?
I'm gonna do it with you.
Okay.
Okay? You took off all your jewelry.
Yes.
What if I can't get it off?
Then we'll just cut your finger.
Okay. It came off.
Okay.
All right. All right, I'm headed over to the stove. We'll be right back. It's awesome to cook and have the 3 generations because it's so important that, you know, Aunt Dot passes things on to me. And same with my mom, she passes things on. I love that tradition of passing everything on to Anisi. And someday she'll pass it on.
Oh, this looks lovely. Look. They're beautiful.
All right, thanks, guys. I hope you enjoy the meatballs. Bye. Done. Woo!
Woo! Very good.
That's a wrap.
Way to go.
With another episode safely in the can, the family can finally relax and enjoy the fruits of their labours.
There's so many things in our daily existence that are difficult or kind of bring us down. So it's important to celebrate the little things.
It's lovely to have everybody together having a meal, and especially since you guys cooked it.
We definitely have a unique family with
Lisa, Chris, and Anisi, and all in wheelchairs, and they always seem to be able to do anything they want to do.
There's nothing Lisa can't do. I'm so proud of her.
I want to make a little toast to Aunt Dot being here, and to doing the cooking show, and to family. And I love you guys all. Cheers. Cheers. Our family is the most important thing. They bring me joy, and knowing that I'm happy is extremely important to me. My mom is amazing. She supports me in everything I do, and my dad is the same.
I'm very proud of Anisi. I see a lot of me in her, like the resilience and determination. I know that she can do anything she puts her mind to.
They are the best parents that I could hope for.
Back in Vegas, strongman Nick Best's competition is fast approaching.
We're packing for the Olympia powerlifting meet. It's going to happen Saturday.
He has been preparing to break world records in the squat, in the deadlift, and in the bench press.
I try to lay everything out like on a table or something so I can see it and just mentally check through everything in my head. This is like a ritual you go through every time you go to make sure you have everything that you need to compete with.
The next few days before the show, I let him be. I don't pick fights. I don't cause drama. I just keep everything as happy and organized as I can.
It does, to a certain degree, help me get in the zone a bit. I also relax because it's something else I don't have to worry about. I know where everything is. I know it's good to go. I just got to grab the bag and head out the door.
Competition day has finally arrived.
Morning. Just trying to finish breakfast. Trying.
The morning of a competition, Nick wakes up, he has his normal breakfast, he does his normal routine.
Before a competition, now I just mainly feel anxious. You know, as it's coming up, it's like, come on, get here. I've been preparing this for like 8 weeks. It's like, come on, it's time to roll.
The run up to my dad competing gets really hectic in the house. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of people coming in and out, people coming over.
Yeah, I got a bunch of friends that came in. There's gonna be a whole bunch more at the contest. Are you guys coming or what? They're to come watch and hang out and support and keep my head straight. The expo's a lot of fun. It's a great atmosphere. People, you get to see the people that like follow you on all of your social media and stuff like that, because they'll just walk right up to you and ask you for a picture. And it's great meeting those people and hearing from a lot of them how you inspire them to live their lives better, and that's kind of cool. It's neat to see you're having a positive influence on people. The moment before I go on stage, it's just like anticipation. It's like, here we go, gonna go up, and this is what I work hard for. This is what I put on all the work in. Now I'm just gonna go show what I did. And it's fun and exciting. That alone just hits you with an adrenaline rush. It's like, so you go up there and you just feed off of it. You learn to use it to your advantage. I got no point to prove to anybody anymore, but there's goals that I have. So now I'm just proving stuff to me. I got to answer to myself now.
Oh, I broke the world record. So much pretty good.
My hopes are to break the world record in the squat and break the world record in the deadlift. If I have a good day, I wouldn't mind breaking the total world record as well. So today I ended up breaking 3 records, so it was pretty good. I'm a little tired, but not bad. I actually feel pretty good. I'm in shape, so something like this shouldn't knock you out or have you wasted. I'll retire when I'm not having fun. When it ceases to be fun and it becomes a job and it's just like going through a grind and I just don't enjoy it anymore, that's when I'm gonna stop.
But for Nick, none of this would be possible without his nearest and dearest.
I loved having Dylan and JJ here. It was really important to me. When I travel internationally and I compete in strongman, they don't get to go to a lot of this stuff because it's so far away. So it meant a lot to have them there today.
The kids really enjoy watching him because they can see that the hard work does yield good results.
Going to the competitions and being there when they win, and you know, running out there when he's crying and like giving him a hug and he's all sweaty and just smells bad. It's just, I'll never forget those moments.
Yeah, it's really fun, but it's kind of scary because you don't know if they're gonna get hurt or not.
I'm aware of where Callie is, and I look to see where the kids are before I go.
They're the loudest ones out there, well, besides me.
My family inspires me. They're 100% of my inspiration.
We all sacrifice for each other's success because when it's competition time, it's competition time.
Oh, you're getting so big. I love them to death, and just having them there, having them go through it, having them yell, having them come up to me afterwards, JJ with her hugs, it just means the world to me. I would not be doing this without them.